start the show here. And before we break down the games and everything like that, folks, we had the NBA trade deadline from last night, and it truly lived up. I mean, the NBA trade deadline, folks, is so much better than the NFL trade deadline, and man, oh man, did we get that last night. So let's talk through all the trades that we saw yesterday. Let's start here with the big one that everybody knows. Here we go. The 76ers and the Nets finally did the deal. The 76ers get James Harden, and they give up Ben Simmons, Seth Curry, Andre Drummond, a 2022 first-round pick, and a 2027 first-round pick. But let's start here with the 76ers. Obviously, they won the trade here. Absolutely, hands down, no debate. They won the trade. James Harden is fantastic, folks. Obviously, he can facilitate the floor, he can shoot, he can score, he can do it all, and that's a little bit of what the 76ers were missing. We get like Tyrese Maxey, absolutely, he's solid, but we see James Harden like quadruple the overall production that we get from Tyrese Maxey. And then you get James Harden with Joel Embiid, fantastic. Ben Simmons wasn't playing. He would never play for the 76ers team again, so it's not like they were, actively losing big-time offensive production in Ben Simmons for the 76ers. So this is an absolute win. You get a hungry James Harden who's ready to prove everybody on the Nets wrong. We see Kevin Durant doing them dirty in the All-Star game selection, not drafting James Harden, drafting injured, Rudy Gobert. Rudy Gobert over James Harden on his final pick, disrespecting him and all that. So James Harden wants to win to kind of, rub it in the face of Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving. And then when we talk about the Nets, Ben Simmons, he doesn't want to go down low. He doesn't want to play the big position. So he's going to play the guard. He's going to play the one and have Kyrie play the two. We know Kyrie doesn't want to play the one. So is Ben Simmons going to be your number one on this team? The James Harden? Are we going to be able to get scoring here by Ben Simmons? Yeah, he can pass it to Kevin Durant and Curry, and that's fine. James Harden did that, no problem. But James Harden was also giving us like 28 plus points a game here. Is Ben Simmons going to be able to do that for this Nets team? No, I don't think so. He may be able to do it, but his game, folks, I don't know. We know the Nets kind of coddled their players a little bit. I mean, if Doc Rivers was not able to get kind of Ben Simmons to kind of buy into the overall team, we think Steve Nash is gonna be able to do that, who can't speak up for himself anyway in the first place. So I don't even like Ben Simmons going to the Nets, honestly. They get Seth Curry also. That's a solid other piece because we know this Nets team, they were just absolutely trash. Besides the big three of Kevin Durant, James Harden, Kyrie Irving, that overall roster is absolutely garbage. So you get a little depth here with Seth Curry, and that's very good for the Nets. I think getting Seth Curry is a little bit overall better than getting Ben Simmons, and I know y'all are going to kill me for saying that, but I don't really see Ben Simmons working in this environment. I mean, they turned James Harden sour on him, and we've seen what James Harden has kind of put up through his career, playing with Russell Westbrook a couple of times, OKC, and then when he went to Houston, everything seemed to be good, and then, that kind of didn't really work out well, and here is, everybody buying in. Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, they're all ready to kind of, win in Brooklyn and kind of be the big three and all that, finally get all their rings that, they truly deserve, and, they turned to James Harden sour. James Harden was actively saying, get me off this team. And Steve Nash was like, yeah, we're not, this was like 5 days ago. Steve Nash was like, yeah, we're not trading James Harden. Of course you're trading James Harden. James Harden wants to leave. Steve Nash, he's got once again no say in the organization at all. He's got no say, no input on the team. So, Seth Curry's a big old positive here for the Nets, and this is what I really love, getting Andre Drummond. Wow, that is another huge pickup for this Nets team. They are truly lacking at their kind of big five position here. We know Ben Simmons probably isn't going to play it. If Ben Simmons is their five, Kyrie, like the overall perfect scenario is literally like Kyrie at the one, playing the one, but we know Kyrie doesn't want to be the point guard. We saw that when James Harden got there firstly. Maxey, Kyrie Irving, the first game that they all played together, the press conference after the game, Kyrie Irving was like, I'm not the point guard. And like that's James Harden. Literally forced it onto James Harden to be the point guard. So we know Kyrie's not going to be the point guard here. Ben Simmons is going to have to run the one. So once again, they're going to be lackadaisical down low at the 5. Andre Drummond's a solid, helper piece, but he's not going to be a starting big. He's aging out of this league. He's not going to be able to play, 35 minutes every single game for the rest of the season and into the playoffs and all that. He's not going to be able to do that, but it's another kind of nice bench relief piece out here, especially at the big position. Nicholas Claxton is kind of their best big so far, and we know he's a little scrawny. He's tall, but he's a little scrawny down low compared to other bigs in this league. The first round picks, who cares? Picks are trash. We don't care. But overall, I think the 76ers absolutely won the trade here. The 76ers are good currently, and they got even better with James Harden. You still can have Tyrese Maxey in the starting lineup. That's great. So you don't really lose that much from, getting rid of Seth Curry to bring in James Harden, because Tyrese Maxey can just go to the 2, James Harden's at the 1, and you basically got your lineup. So really, you're losing a little bit of depth at the big position with Andre Drummond, but I think they'll be able to make do with it. So I love the 76ers getting James Harden. I think they absolutely won the trade here, and everyone's gushing over Ben Simmons on this Nets team. I don't think it's going to play out like everybody is expecting it. First, we need Ben Simmons. First of all, the man can't shoot, and the man hasn't played the entire year. So he's going to be a little bit rusty, the first couple of games that he goes out and plays. And once again, we still get Kyrie Irving not being able to play home games, so we get Ben Simmons. We're going to get a period of Ben Simmons with no Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving, and the man can't shoot. So what is this Nets team going to do in the interim until, Kyrie Irving can play every single game, until Kevin Durant comes back healthy? Like, we're going to get Ben Simmons out there by himself. Good luck. Ben Simmons with Andre Drummond and Seth Curry. Is that going to look good? I don't know altogether. I don't think it's going to be that good right off the rip. So the Nets, folks, I don't believe they even came close to even thinking about winning the trade or even coming close to winning this trade. 76ers won the trade 100% hands down. All right, so that was the biggest trade of yesterday. But then we got this, and this came out of nowhere, and I don't get it, but this is what happened. The Mavericks and the Wizards had a trade. So the Mavericks traded Porzingis to the Wizards. What? Now, I do kind of like it. Porzingis down low at the 5 with, Kyle Kuzma. Unfortunately, no Bradley Beal. That would have been a little bit of a squad I think I could have gotten behind a little bit. But why the Mavericks? I don't really get why the Mavericks got rid of Porzingis. I don't really care that they got rid of Porzingis. They were winning with Porzingis on the floor. They were winning without Porzingis on the floor. We know this Mavericks team is just basically outside shooters all over the place. They didn't even really have Porzingis doing anything really down low for like the entirety of the game. And we've seen Porzingis, try to get away from the 5 to play the 4 so he can kind of take a little bit more threes and all that. So Mavericks getting rid of Porzingis, it just kind of caught me off guard, but I don't really think Porzingis is a huge reason why this Mavericks team is successful overall. So he goes to the Wizards. Alrighty, the Wizards aren't good. Porzingis is not going to make this Wizards team good, unfortunately. But the Mavericks get Davis Bertans, and, once again, the Mavericks love outside shooting. Well, there you go. Nice bench piece for you, Davis Bertans. And then they also get Spencer Dinwiddie, another solid overall piece. So I think the Mavericks won the trade overall. You get rid of Porzingis. It never really seemed like they really wanted him that much. And, the whole Luka Doncic, Porzingis, we never knew if they really liked each other or not. So they get rid of him. They won with him on the floor. They won with him without the off the floor, so I don't think the Mavericks are really going to be missing Porzingis that much. All right, and then we get this trade, and I love this trade. This is a fantastic trade. Once again, these teams trading away their best players for literally nothing. It makes no sense. We just saw it with the Kings getting rid of Tyrese Haliburton. That may work. We saw Sabonis win their first game, so maybe that was the right trade here. But the Celtics and the Spurs engage in a trade, and the Spurs send Derek White to the Celtics. What? DeJounte Murray, Derek White were killing it on the Spurs, but they let him go, and they go to the Celtics. Now, this is a fantastic pickup for the Celtics. They need a better guard. They truly need like a little bit of a more better guard depth ability there. So getting Derek White, now Marcus Smart can maybe, come down to the bench or something, or maybe they rock Derek White in the starting lineup at the 2. Yeah, I mean, the Celtics getting that guard depth, hopefully a little bit of more ball movement overall in the offense here. But I love the Celtics getting another guard. I think that was a really solid pickup by the Celtics. A little bit of a fleece by the Celtics here, where the Spurs get Josh Richardson. Trash. I mean, he wasn't even good with the Celtics. They never even played the man. They got Romeo Langford as well. Once again, never played for the Celtics, rarely, barely, never even any production offensively, defensively by any of these Celtics players. And then they get a 2022 first-round pick and a 2028 first-round pick swap. It's like, once again, draft picks are really trash all over the board. NFL, NBA, draft picks are really trash. Give me proven talent winning right now. I'll take that all day. I'll give you every single one of my picks for the next 20 years. I do not care. Give me the players now. So Celtics, another good trade. But then we get this. They had a good trade getting Derek White, but then we hated this. They got Daniel Tice back. Ugh. And Daniel Tice was supposed to play last night, and we told you all to stay away from the Rockets because he was playing. We were like, don't bet on the Rockets. Daniel Tice is out on the floor, and we know how that looks. So the Celtics get Daniel Tice back. They had him last season. Trash. They got rid of him. He was trash with the Rockets. Now he's back with the Celtics. Trash. So Celtics get Daniel Tice. Lacking big men out here. So Daniel Tice comes back to the Celtics, and the Celtics give up Dennis Schroeder. So, that's kind of why they bring in Derek White for the overall trade. Then they get Enes Kanter, and I believe they're going to be buying him out. So Enes Kanter is probably going to be, free on the market. And then they get also Bruno Fernando. So really the Rockets just got Dennis Schroeder, which is okay. A little bit of a guard help there. All right, we'll see how that works out. The Rockets aren't good, though. And then what else did we get to here? I think we talked about this trade yesterday. The Bucks, this 4-trade team between the Bucks, the Clippers, the Kings, and the Pistons. The Bucks get Serge Ibaka, which we think is fantastic. We kind of saw how, PJ Tucker played with this Bucks team last season. Nice defensive piece. And, Serge Ibaka is not as good defensively as PJ Tucker, but he's a little bit better offensively at the shooting threes. So I think it's a solid pickup here with the Bucks, getting some nice depth off the bench, especially with Brook Lopez being out and all that, having to start Bobby Portis. So I think the Serge Ibaka pickup is an absolute home run for this Bucks team. The Clippers get Rodney Hood, Semi Oulajé, so a little bit of, once again, role players coming off the bench, and that's exactly what this Clippers team is truly made of until Paul George comes back, if he comes back. But, we see this Clippers team not being good as of late, so we'll see if this extra bench helps out any. I don't know if it is. Then the Kings, I think the Kings are making some really great moves out here. So watch out for this Kings team. They may be very good, and I think we said this yesterday, but I believe this Kings team has a real solid chance of trying to get into the playoffs this season with all the moves that they're making. Currently the 12th seed here in the Western Conference, and they are, what do we got, like 3 games out from the 10th seed of being in the play-in tournament at minimum. So we're keeping a big, hefty eye on this Kings team moving forward, and we believe the bettability is truly rising up with this team as well. So the Kings get Dante DiVincenzo, nice guard for them. They do have a lot of guards already, but, some more help off the bench. The depth, gotta have it. They bring in Josh Jackson and Trey Lyles, both from Detroit. So once again, they're just getting some great talent here, and the depth ability is truly there. And the Pistons get Marvin Bagley from Sacramento, from the Kings. All right, what else trades do we get? Oh, I love this one. This one is fantastic as well, and this one truly went under the radar. The Hornets and the Wizards engage in a trade, and the Wizards trade Montrezl Harrell to the Hornets. Yes. We love Montrezl Harrell, great bench big, and we know the Hornets, with just Mason Plumlee, it's not getting it done. So you bring in Montrezl Harrell, great defender, great leader overall. The man's got great hustle, and we see some really solid offensive production numbers. We can always count on this man for like 10 and 8 coming off the bench almost on a gamely basis. So love the Hornets getting Montrezl Harrell. And the Wizards just get Vernon Carey and Ish Smith in a 2023 second-round pick. So once again, the Wizards, I don't really know what they're doing, what their overall identity is going to be. Having Kyle Kuzma and Porzingis, that's who they're truly rocking with. I don't know if that's going to get it done, but I don't like all the moves the Wizards have been making, but I love what the Hornets just did on this trade. I think that's a win for the Hornets overall. All right, we get Torrey Craig going back to the Suns. We get Pacers getting Jalen Smith. It's an all right trade overall. We get the Suns getting Aaron Holiday from the Wizards. That's another solid, piece. The Suns getting deeper out here, and they're already the best team in the league. We saw that last night. The Suns absolutely destroying the Bucks. That's a big win for the Suns. We'll talk about that a little bit more once we get to that game. But, Suns just getting deeper, and they're already great. So this is going to be, man, oh man, the rich get richer. All right, we get this, and I like this one as well. The Raptors and the Spurs engage in a trade. The Spurs get Goran Dragic. All right, he wasn't even playing all year anyway, so who cares? And the Raptors get Thaddeus Young and Drew Eubanks. That's great. We love this Raptors team. Now they're getting deeper, getting another big Thaddeus Young coming off the bench. That was a great piece overall. Eubanks, solid offensive production there. So this Raptors team getting better, and that's exactly where they were kind of lacking. Our one knock that we had on the Raptors, their starting five is fantastic, and they usually play like 35 to 40 minutes every game because they have no depth here. But you get great role players with Nick Nurse. Ooh, Nick Nurse and role players, folks. I mean, he turns role players into superstars, folks, okay? I mean, they got Fred VanVleet and Pascal Siakam looking like superstars, top 20 players in the league, folks. No other coach would be able to do that with those players, I'm telling you. Nick Nurse, big time credit deserved. All right, and then we get this. Ooh, I didn't even hear about this one, but I love it. Absolutely. The Celtics and the Magic involve in a trade. The Magic get Bol Bol, and I swear to goodness, if y'all don't start using Bol Bol, folks, the Magic should at least, at minimum, be getting like 10 to 15 minutes off the bench every single game. And I put 10 as the low number. I really want to see 15 minutes a game for Bol Bol. Solid height. He can shoot. He can stretch the floor. And just overall the height, if he can't move, if he's not athletic, okay, just clog him in the paint. The man is like 7'10", folks. Get that man out on the floor. Develop the man, please. Especially with the bad teams, now that he's on the Magic, you can play him. The Magic, it's unfortunate. They're not really playing for anything at the current moment. They may be able to make a little bit of a run, but not with the current kind of rotations that they're using. Get Bol Bol, please, and put him into the game, please. Every game for 15 minutes. I will be having a stopwatch on during every single Magic game, and I'm timing. I need to see Bol Bol out there for 15 minutes every single game. They also get PJ Dozier as well. All right, I believe those are all the trades. These other ones happened not yesterday. I believe we talked all about these. Yeah, Nickeil Alexander-Walker going to the Jazz. Love them getting a little bit deeper. So the trade deadline, folks, absolutely bananas. Lakers don't make any trade. Russell Westbrook is still on the team. Seems like the Lakers are waiting for the buyout market to kind of see who they can pick up, and we already kind of know some players are getting bought out. What was the one name? I think Dennis Schroeder's not going to get bought out. I forgot who I saw was probably getting bought out. Unfortunate, but we'll see who gets bought out and who the Lakers bring in. They got to bring in somebody, folks. They're not winning a chip right now with their current rotations or current roster at all. So got to do something there, and we'll see what they do. But they did not make a trade. So love the 76ers trade, getting James Harden. They easily won it. I love the Derek White to the Celtics. Absolutely fantastic. I love Serge Ibaka to the Bucks. What else do we love? I love Montrezl Harrell to the Hornets. Torrey Craig to the Suns. Fantastic. Aaron Holiday to the Suns. Fantastic. Thaddeus Young, Drew Eubanks to the Raptors. Absolutely love it. Bobo to the Magic. And we need to see that man play. All right, so that was all the NBA trade deadline yesterday. And then we had also the All-Star Team Draft yesterday. Team Durant versus Team LeBron. And we had Durant throwing shade to James Harden. James Harden, Rudy Gobert, the last two players to be drafted, and Durant drafts Rudy Gobert and passes on James Harden. So Kevin Durant being petty, like we know Kevin Durant is overall, that's his personality. He's the Aaron Rodgers of the NBA, but a little bit worse, overall than his personality. He takes, Aaron Rodgers' personality and kind of gives it an extra kind of 50% boost. Not goodly. So Kevin Durant ends up drafting Joel Embiid, fantastic. John Morant, Jason Tatum, Andrew Wiggins, Trae Young, LaMelo Ball, Devin Booker, Rudy Gobert, Draymond Green, Zach LaVine, Chris Middleton, DeJounte Murray, and Karl Anthony Towns. Where Team LeBron gets Giannis, Steph Curry, DeMar DeRozan, Jokic, Jimmy Butler, Luka Doncic, Darius Garland. Love that. And can we potentially be gearing up for a return to Cleveland Part 3 here by LeBron? Because if I get LeBron with Darius Garland and Colin Sexton and Jared Allen, sheesh, LeBron's about to three-peat and then retire. Crazy. And then he drafts Bronny as he's coming into the league, and I get Bronny, LeBron, Darius Garland, Colin Sexton, Jared Allen. Is that a starting five, folks? Sheesh. We're talking about three-peat into retirement for LeBron. Watch out for this man to return to Cleveland. Drafts Darius Garland, gets James Harden, Donovan Mitchell, Chris Paul, and Fred VanVleet. So I think I'm loving Team LeBron overall. Getting Giannis, Steph Curry, walking bucket, Luka Doncic, walking bucket, James Harden, walking bucket. So much offense here. And then having Jokic and Giannis as their beefs. Durant getting Joel Embiid is fantastic. Trae Young, John Morant, they're a little bit of discount. Steph Curry and Luka Doncic, and I don't mean that in any sort of negative connotation, but I would say, I'm taking Steph Curry and Luka Doncic over John Morant and Trae Young. They're great, don't get me wrong, but I'm going to take the other ones that can shoot a little bit more of a consistent clip, a little bit deeper, deadlier clip than we get from John Morant and Trae Young. So I think I'm taking Team LeBron over Team Durant. We got the All-Star game coming up February 20th, so we'll talk about that a little bit more as it approaches. See if we can finally bet on this. We couldn't bet on the NFL Pro Bowl. Hopefully we can bet on the NBA All-Star game because I'm taking Team LeBron. Just like we said we were taking Team AFC, and we couldn't even bet it. So I'm still waiting for the money from Vegas on that. I said I bet the AFC. I also said I was swallowing 6.5, and they only won by 6. But I also said I'm taking the AFC to win, so I want that money credited to me, please. Still waiting on that. So we'll see how this game plays out and how Durant and James Harden, well, Durant's not going to be playing, so I guess we're not going to get them out on the floor at the same time. But we'll see how James Harden plays with LeBron and how James Harden plays with the new Philadelphia 76ers. All right, and then the last thing quickly here, we have a little bit of an update on Zion. We don't know if this man's coming back, but we have an update on his rehab and what he's doing. So we get this, quote, he's basically just been in Oregon, grinding every day, building up his conditioning, trying to get back. I have no clue if he'll play this season, but I can tell you that that's been his only goal of getting back. So we'll see. Zion with the Pelicans. Pelicans kind of trending up, let us down a little bit last night. We'll talk about that when we get to that game. But Zion, he's trying to come back. Hopefully he can come back. We need Zion in the league. He was so dominant in the bubble when he played the few games that he did play. But man, oh man, we need to see that man in the league, truly. Alrighty, that is all the NBA news. We had to